The ancient Cyclops, the legendary giants with the one eye in the forehead, their real identity, which unfortunately we were not taught in schools, and what are they? Well, we know of a Cyclops that Ulysses, in his journeys in the Iliad and the Odyssey, was captured by this, and his men were captured by this Cyclops called Polyphemus, meaning famous. How much do we know about the truth of the Odyssey and the Cyclops? Because thousands of poems and studies and analysis have been written about Homer's myths, and this post is about the Cyclops that Homer writes about. Homer, of course, is the person, that the ancient Greek that wrote the Odyssey and the Iliad. The vast majority of modern Greeks learn the Iliad and the Odyssey of Homer purely factually, literally in the terms of meaning, completely superficially. Even if modern Greeks know why the Iliad and the Odyssey were written, we live in an incredible drama. In the Greek worldview and perception, man has a great potential to learn to think, to use his imagination, and to activate his creative machinery, his talents. So, what are the Cyclops? As Plato and Proclus analyze, the Cyclops belong to the fourth category of mental gods, quote unquote, out of the 10 species in total that exist in the Orphic Pythagorean Platonic philosophy. The fourth category of these deities is divided into 3 subcategories. The Cyclops belong to the third subcategory of the ultimate gods of the celestial arc of Plato, Phaedrus. The third subcategory of the Cyclops forever undertakes to bring to fruition, Proclus tells us, the form of the shape of worlds and beings. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Now let's keep in mind that ancient giants existed. Let's keep in mind that we've had a lot of extinction level events, and the latest being the Clovis culture from the Clovis comet that impacted our Earth about 14,000 years ago. Now, according to these Cyclops, the third subcategory of Cyclops undertakes to bring to fruition, Proclus tells us, the form of the shape of worlds and beings, exclamation points. In the picture we see the myth of the blindness of Cyclops Polyphemus by Ulysses and his companions. Well, that is all we, the Greeks, learned at school anyway. They did not teach us to think and mentally remove all the veils behind which the truth is inscribed. So how do we know the truth of the Odyssey and the Cyclops? Because they've written thousands of poems, studies, and analyzed the Homeric myths referred to so for Cyclops. The vast majority of Greeks learned the purely literary and factual. In the Greek worldview, the perception of man has a great potential, learning to think and use his imagination and activities and create his techniques through his imagination. So what are these Cyclops then? As analyzed by Plato and Proclus, the Cyclops belong to the fourth category of mental gods of the 10 species in total that exist in the Platonic philosophy. The fourth category of these deities divided into 3 subcategories, the Cyclops belonging to the third subclass of effector gods, according to Plato. The third subcategory of the Cyclops forever takes to bring out, says Proclus, form the shape of worlds and beings. In the picture we see the myth of the blinding of the Cyclops Polyphemus by Ulysses and his companions. Well, just what we learned in the school, we as modern Greeks were not taught to think and mentally unpick all the veils behind which entered the truth. according to this Greek article. Now, in Greek mythology and Roman mythology, the Cyclops, circle eyes, that means, round eyes. The three groups of Cyclops distinguished in Hesiod's Theogony. The Cyclops are the three brothers Brontes, Steropes, and Arges, who made for Zeus his weapons, the thunderbolt. Okay, so they were obviously very technical. They made Zeus's thunderbolts. And in Homer's Odyssey, they are an uncivilized group of shepherds, the brethren of Polyphemus, the one who was blinded by Ulysses, encountered in the Odyssey. Cyclops were also famous as the builders of the Cyclopean walls of Mycene and Tiryns. And they were huge. I mean, they were really huge. And this is one of the heads of the famous Polyphemus. It's found in one of the Roman museums, right there. And this is what they looked like. The Cyclopean walls are very, very big. This is in Mycene. Mycene again, right there, the gate. And Tiryns, they're basically all this is in the same area. The 5th century playwright Euripides wrote a satire play entitled Cyclops about the Odyssey's encounter with Polyphemus, or Theseus' Ulysses, with Polyphemus, the one that he blinded. Mentions of the wall builder Cyclops also figure in his play. 3rd century BC, Callimachus makes the Cyclops the assistant of smith god Hephaestus. Okay, he was basically he was an iron worker. So, in other words, these Cyclopean entities were very technical in what they were doing. Can you imagine? Supposedly making Zeus's thunderbolts. And the Homeric Cyclops, this is, of course, another picture of Ulysses blinding Polyphemus, as we can see here, from an amphora, a vase. Cyclopean wall builders, another example of them right here in Mycene, in the Peloponnese of Greece. And basically they were very knowledgeable. According to Homer, the Cyclops have no ships, nor shipwrights, nor other craftsmen, and know nothing of agriculture. They have no regard for Zeus or other gods, for the Cyclops hold themselves to be better far than they. Homer says that the godlike Polyphemus, the son of Poseidon, in other words, Polyphemus, the Cyclops, was a Nephilim, a son of Poseidon, and the nymph Thusa, the daughter of Porkis, and is the greatest among all the Cyclops. Homer describes Polyphemus as a shepherd who mingled not with others, but lived apart, with his heart set on lawlessness, for he was fashioned a wondrous monster, and was not like a man that lives by bread, but like a wooded peak of lofty mountains, which stands out to view alone, apart from the rest. Now, Homer does not say exactly that Polyphemus is one-eyed, for the account of his blinding to make sense he must be. If Homer meant for the other Cyclops to be assumed to be like Polyphemus, then they too will be one-eyed sons of Poseidon. However, Homer says nothing explicit about either the parentage or the appearance of the other Cyclops. So in other words, okay, here we have various others who talk about the Cyclops locations and everything. But basically, they were very knowledgeable and had knowledge of various technologies. This is according to Wikipedia. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.